The New Zealand Tech Podcast, brought to you by Gorilla Technology, proactive and strategic IT.
Greetings and welcome along to the New Zealand Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Spain. Today, we're delving into some of the highlights from the New Zealand High Tech Awards. I was at the amazing gala dinner there in Christchurch, over 1,000 people in attendance from inside and outside of the tech sector. Of course, dignitaries such as Prime Minister Chris Hipkins in attendance too. So on this episode and on the supporting episodes, we are going to delve in with some of the winners from the High Tech Awards this year. So I think you're really going to enjoy these chats. And of course, a big thank you to our show partners, to One NZ, Spark NZ, 2 Degrees, HP, and Gorilla Technology for their incredible support of the New Zealand Tech Podcast and, of course, their support of the broader tech and innovation ecosystems here in New Zealand. Let's jump in with David Downs, Chairman of the High Tech Trust. And welcome, David, in China with the Prime Minister on trade delegation.
Oh, ni hao. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you for taking time out. Just was really keen to tap in and hear from you around what you see as the highlights of this last 12-month period since the 2022 NZ High Tech Awards. Seems like things are continuing to ramp up for the tech sector. There was an incredible lineup of participants in the awards and of course winners too. But what are your perspectives?
Yeah, I mean, as you saw, it was another incredible night. We had nearly 1,100 people down there in Christchurch, which is the biggest ever event we've had in Christchurch, that's for sure. And I guess that goes to to your question, what's the highlight? It's just the continued amazing explosion of growth that's happening across the technology sector, and not just all in one area. It's happening all around the country in different regions, and it's happening with different types of businesses, the diversity of businesses that are coming through, and the diversity of the people in those businesses. It's, we're really sort of seeing the fulfillment of a sector that many of us have kind of dreamed about, a rich, vibrant, diverse industry group coming together to celebrate success. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it really is really encouraging. And of course, we had Prime Minister Chris Hipkins also, give an address as part of the High Tech Awards, and he was highlighting, the continued growth in the sector. I think, mentioning we're up to 11.5 billion. And
that's an export growth, and then add to that the New Zealand domestic money, and you've got nearly 16 billion in terms of its impact in the sector. It's huge.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Do you have any pick on when tech's going to become our number one export earner, David? How do you think we're gonna go there?
Oh, look, I've voted politically to answer that question. It's funny because I'm on this delegation to China, and we've got technology companies here. We've got a couple of gaming companies. We've got also though big food and beverage, dairy and meat companies, and I don't think it's particularly useful to sort of make that comparison. I think the food sector, collectively, dairy and all the other food is about 40 billion. So there's still quite a way to go.
Yeah.
But in terms of the growth of the sector, this is the tech sector is growing at 10% CAGR and has been for years now. So it's just accelerating in its growth. Whereas you'd have to say some of those other industries are probably, and it's what the point of this delegation, they're probably at peak production capacity. For some of them, how are they therefore going to transform their own sectors to capture value in a different way? So there's sort of different challenges in different parts of the economy.
Yep. And looking at those who are there on the delegation from a tech perspective, where are the opportunities with China?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. As I said, we've got a couple of gaming companies here, and one of the real opportunities and challenges is Chinese regulations around gaming. About 3 or 4 years ago, the Chinese government changed quite radically the construct and didn't allow games on the app stores, the various app stores, which has been a really serious impediment, not just New Zealand games, any games. It was part of their, I suppose, drive to get more productivity into kids and things. But it's really had a serious impact. Like today, actually, some of the delegation are off meeting with some representatives of the government to talk to them about what do they see is happening around the policies for allowing more apps on the App Store and more from New Zealand in particular, but from anywhere, So the size of the prize is massive. You get a New Zealand game. We've got TikTok here, for example. Get one of their games on the App Store, and suddenly you've got a huge market. So it's a big prize. Yeah,
well, I hope there's some good results on that front. Maybe that encourages, and I don't know where these things would fit, but more educational content that is very gamified, maybe, but that might cross into the game category.
That's what they were talking about, actually. I mean, the New Zealand gaming sector does have this sort of bigger purpose and sort of values around it. There's, the games are less around just trivial and have a bit more meaning and content, and it's the educational components and things. So that's the angle exactly where some of these businesses, I think, need to position themselves.
Great. So looking at this next year ahead, what are your hopes, following the 2023 NZ High Tech Awards?
Yeah, it's funny because we always roll off the back of a High Tech Awards like the one in Christchurch, and we'll go, oh man, that was a big night and it was a great night. How do we stop it? We had a great band, we had great MCs, we just, amazing group of people in the room. We'll do it again next year. It'll be in Auckland next year. It'll be bigger again. I hope that what we'll see is just this continuing evolution of the sector. More smaller businesses, real innovative ideas, more of the larger businesses growing. What we've definitely seen in the last few years is a trend towards more deep tech. Not that there's anything wrong with software or SaaS models, but having these sort of really science-based technology coming through is just really rapid. And then also tech with purpose, like this year at the awards you saw at least a couple of categories won by organisations, or maybe 3, 4, that were really purpose-driven organisations that use technology to enable a really big impact, whether that's recycling devices, whether it was in the healthcare systems. So I think we'll see more of that. That seems to be something that New Zealand really specialises in, is tech for good.
Yeah, I think that's really encouraging, and just seeing that variety that keeps growing every year is really, really pleasing, and just seeing more people attracted and pulled into the vortex, shall we say, of the broader technology sector, and seeing that continued growth, really pleasing. Anything else that you wanted to add before we let you get back to what you're up to there with the delegation in China?
Yeah, well, just to pick up on the point you just made then, actually, Paul, about the people coming into the sector, I think one of the great things about the High Tech Awards, and certainly the media we had this year, was, far outstripped any other media interest we've had in the past. But what it shows, therefore, is this sector that has a whole different type of roles. It's not all about computer programmers or testers or data analysts. There are many, many different roles in the sector: designers, sound people, all sorts. And that's a really important message to get out there, because if the industry is going to continue to grow, we need a diverse set of skills and talents, and we need people from all walks and types of society. So that's a really a key thing that these awards is helping do. And if you step back strategically, the High Tech Awards was always designed to promote the sector and promote its growth, not just to celebrate the success of individual companies, and we do that, and that's awesome, but actually, what could we be doing to highlight the opportunities in the sector for many, many others? And I think we're doing a decent job of that. And, if you're out there and you're not working in the sector, or you've got kids that are thinking about what careers to get into, tech is a great option.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, David. I hope the rest of your time there in China goes well. Yeah, thanks for joining us on the New Zealand Tech Podcast today.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Cheers.
All right. Take care. Cheers. Well, thanks, folks. Hope you enjoyed hearing from David Downs of the High Tech Trust, who are behind the NZ High Tech Awards. Now, be sure to check out all our other episodes that are focused on the New Zealand High Tech Awards. The next episode is with Bex Rempel, who is the co-founder and chief executive at ZeroJet, and also across our broader catalogue of podcasts on both the New Zealand Tech Podcast and the New Zealand Business Podcast, where you will catch some incredible in-depth interviews with many founders across our broader tech and business segments here in New Zealand. You can also follow myself on LinkedIn if you want to catch some of our live streams. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And of course, thank you to our show partners, Gorilla Technology, HP Spark, 2 Degrees, and 1NZ. All right, catch you soon.
The New Zealand Tech Podcast, brought to you by Gorilla Technology, proactive and strategic IT.